Good afternoon, everyone. How are you all? कैसे हो भाई? लंच टाइम पे सो गए क्या? सो ही गए लगते हो. Okay. So today, yes, in the last lecture, what were we doing? Can anyone tell me that? Basically, okay. So we were talking about the disequilibrium. Yes, disequilibrium of balance of payment, and in that the ways of correcting the this disequilibrium through monetary and non-monetary measures. Okay, so we'll move ahead with a new topic today, that is about exchange rates. Now, what is an exchange rate? Can anyone tell me what is an exchange rate? Yes, the rate of home currency that is converted. And who was this one? This was Hiva. Yes, Hiva, almost right. Okay, now anyone else who wants to share their views on what is exchange rate? No one? Or you people are just writing? Okay. Yes. Yes, Vimal, you are right. Archie is also right. Okay. So basically, what is exchange rate? Yeah, this is something which shows the price of a domestic currency in terms of foreign currency. See, what happens in exchange rate is that whenever two countries are in an open trade, and then the goods and services and capital, they'll move in and out of one or the other country. Like if India is in this process of imports and exports, what will we use to pay for them, or what will we get out of them? अगर हम imports या exports में involved होंगे as a country, with which currency will we be able to conduct them? Will be able to conduct them with the help of dollar? Yes. So when we are aware that we'll be able to conduct the particular transaction only through this particular currency, don't we need to know the rate of that currency? We need to know the rate of that currency. No? So this process of knowing the rates of other currency is also the process of knowing the exchange rate. Now, in the process, the price or exchange rate is important because it is the rate at which the trade will take place. So the demand for foreign exchange will occur. Now, whenever we are talking about this, whenever we are talking about this demand for foreign exchange, there are three types of reams of foreign exchange rate, or we can say of exchange rate, and that is gold standard, fixed exchange rate, and flexible exchange rate. So, what we'll do is we'll try to go through these reams, but before that, we will just go through the basic definitions of all these things. So, what is an exchange rate? Basically, if we are trying to define an exchange rate, so the basic definition of exchange rate is it is defined as the price of one currency in term of other currency, like the cost of rupee in front of yen, dollar. So that is what exchange rate is about. Then we are having gold standard, like each country fixes the price of its currency in terms of gold. Earlier, this used to happen. So that is what gold standard is. That is when a country is fixing the price in terms of gold. Then we are having the fixed exchange rate. What is a fixed exchange rate? Basically, when the central bank fixes the exchange rate at a particular level, and all the trades are allowed to take place only at that particular rate in a country, that is called a fixed exchange rate. Like if the exchange rate is fixed to 10 rupees, or if the exchange rate is fixed to 100 rupees, then all the trades will have to take place at that particular rate only. That can be termed as a fixed exchange rate. Then we are having the flexible exchange rate. So in this case, the rate of exchange is determined by the interplay of the supply and demand of foreign exchange. Like how much demand of foreign exchange is there with respect to that. Who's this? Yes, Hirva, you want to say something? Hirva? Okay, now flexible exchange rate is something which is determined on the basis of, like, what example can I give you? If you're having an import of 300 rupees and we are having an export of 600 rupees, then the exchange rate will be less. Why? Because the demand of foreign currency is lesser than the supply. At the same time, if we need to pay $600 and our receipt is just of $200, then the cost of foreign exchange will be more. That is how the flexible exchange rate works. Then is appreciation. Appreciation refers to the decline in the foreign price, in the domestic price of the foreign currency, or we can say an increase in the price of a domestic currency in front of foreign currency. That is what appreciation is. And depreciation is something that refers to the increase in the domestic price of foreign currency. So appreciation refers to the decline in the domestic price of foreign currency. That is, so this time it refers to the, like, dollar will, instead of 72 it will become 70 rupees. Whereas when we are talking about depreciation, then the dollar, which is of 72 rupees right now, will become 75 rupees. So that is the difference between appreciation and depreciation. Am I clear? Are you understanding? Okay, so when this appreciation and depreciation is clear for you, we can move ahead with the gold standard. Now, what is gold standard? See, basically, what used to happen in earlier days was that the price of the currency was decided on the basis of gold, because every country was ready to trade the domestic currency for gold. So, in this case, there was no single country which occupied a privileged position, because the number of currencies and the number of prices of gold in terms of those currencies are equal when we are talking about gold standards. So in this case, every country is free to fix its own price in terms of gold. That is what gold standard is. But in terms of gold, my currency is worth this much. In terms of gold, my currency is worth that much. So every country is allowed to fix their own price in terms of gold. Now, since the ancient times, these gold coins were used as medium of exchange, as a unit of account, as a store of value. So as this gold was already used in so many ways for the transaction purpose, the gold standard became a legal institution. Now, this happened in the year of 1819. So, in the 19th century, Germany, Japan, and other countries, they also adopted the gold standards. As this time, this was the time when Britain was having a leading economic power. So, in the 19th century, Germany, Japan, and all these countries, they adopted the gold standard as the world's leading economic power was Britain. Now, the other countries or the other nations, they imitated this British institution later on. And if we are talking about developed economies, because we are currently having all the names of developed economies only, so United States effectively joined the gold standards in the year of 1879. Can anyone tell me, when did America get freedom? Anyone? Can anyone tell me when did America got freedom? Am I audible to you? Kids, am I audible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then reply me. When did America get freedom? Okay. So even after getting freedom in the year of 1776, in order to join this gold standard, they had to cover a long, long, long path. So in the year of 1879, they also joined the gold standards, whereas they did not have to stay in this for a very longer period of time, because in the year of 1918 to 1939, what government did was it effectively suspended the gold standards, and because they had to finance their military expenditure. There was a massive military expenditures at this time, so they had to finance the part of their massive military expenditure by printing money. Now, why was there a military expenditure at this time? In the year of 1918 and 1939, why was there a situation of military expenditure? इतनी लंबी वर्ल्ड वॉर चली थी, 20 साल. विच वर्ल्ड वॉर, सही से बताओ. You are saying world war, which is right, but which? World War III? But that cannot happen in the year of 1918, no? जा चुका है. When did World War I happen? Okay, yes. So this was the time of World War I and World War II, and as a result of that, the countries have to do away with the gold standards, because they needed to finance their military expenditures with the help of printed currency. So we'll move towards the next two reams of foreign exchange rates. So first of all, what is the fixed exchange rate? See, the exchange rate ream, also known as the peg, is this one. This one is also known as the pegged exchange rate, wherein the government and the central bank attempts to keep the value of the currency as fixed against the value of other currency. That is why it is also called as fixed exchange rate. Like if the government has decided that the exchange rate of yen will be not yen, let's consider Australian dollar. If the government is considered that the cost of Australian dollar will be 45 rupees per dollar and it will not change. So that will be considered as a fixed exchange rate. That no matter what happens in the market, how much money is required, how much money is supplied, the exchange rate is not going to change at all. That is considered as fixed exchange rate. So under this system, the flexibility of exchange rate is permitted under IMF agreement. That fine will in this if the country is using this system, they are allowed to keep the exchange rate fixed, but it also has to be flexible as per the IMF standards, but only up to a certain extent. Like we have fixed the exchange rate to 45 rupees per dollar, then you don't need to change it entirely. The minor change that you have to make in this exchange rate is that it should be variable between 45 to 50. That is it. Now, in India, when the currency price is fixed, an official price of its currency is reserve. And reserve currency is issued by the Apex Bank, that is Reserve Bank of India. After the determination of the rate, the Reserve Bank undertakes to buy and sell foreign currencies, and it is the central bank only which makes changes in the exchange rate also. In India, all the changes are made as per the central bank. There is no driving force. There is a driving force, but taking everything into consideration, we decide the exchange rate. That is one of the reason it does not blow out of proportion. So, next thing that we are having is the definition of flexible exchange rate. Now, the monetary system wherein the exchange rate is decided by the demand and supply forces is known as flexible, or we can say a floating exchange rate. The economic position of a country will determine the market demand and supply of its currency. If the economic condition is very good, the demand and supply will be more. If the economic condition is bad, then the demand and supply will not be so good. So in this system, the currency price is market determined as compared to other currencies. The higher the demand of a particular currency, the higher will be the value. The lower the demand, the lower will be the value. Now this demand is in respect to the supply. If there is more supply and lesser demand, or there is lesser supply and more demand, that is to be seen. Okay. So in this system, the currency prices in market are determined considering other currencies. That is, the higher the demand of a particular currency, the higher will be the exchange rate, and lower the demand, lesser will be the value of currency compared to other currencies. Therefore, here the exchange rate is not in the control of the government or any sort of central bank. So that is what flexible exchange rate is, which is self-determining. Now, if you're trying to find the difference between the fixed exchange rate and the flexible exchange rate, then that can be found out with on certain aspects, or on certain basis of comparisons are there. The first one is meaning. No, the fixed exchange rate refers to the rate which the government sets and which the government maintains at the same level. Whereas the flexible exchange rate is the rate that vary according to the market forces. So the fixed exchange rate is government determined, whereas the flexible one is market determined. And when we are talking about the changes in the currency prices, in case of fixed exchange rate, it is changed with the help of revaluation and devaluation. Whereas in case of flexible exchange rate, the changes in prices are a resultant effect of depreciation and appreciation. Then in case of fixed exchange rate, there are speculations that take place when there is a rumor, when we are having a rumor about the change in a government policy. Whereas in case of flexible exchange rate, the rumors and speculations are very common. Market ऊपर जाने वाला है, market नीचे जाने वाला है. All this sort of speculations can be there, or there'll be more exports next year, or there'll be more imports next year. All these sorts of speculations are also very common when the exchange rate, which is considered by the country, is a flexible exchange rate. Then the fixed exchange rate operates through variation. This variation is in the supply of money to and the domestic interest rate and the prices. So it operates through them. Whereas the flexible exchange rate will remove all sorts of external instability by the change in forex rate. The cost of money itself will change. So any sort of external stability will be removed. Okay. So these were the three definitions, that is the gold standard, fixed and flexible exchange rate. Now, what is the in gold standard? We have already seen that the regime came to an that this regime came to an end in the year of 1918 to 1939. So further, they're not having any word about its regime. But in case of fixed exchange rate, we can talk about a regime, because in this case, the central bank of a country will fix the exchange rate at a given level. So there is no market for foreign exchange, because the exchange rate is policy determined over here. You cannot buy money in open market. Here the money is here the exchange rate is policy is determined. So there are certain merits to the fixed exchange rate ring, and there are three main points in favor of this regime. In this section, what we are trying to understand, what are the benefits of a fixed exchange rate ring. The benefits are like element of certainty is there. It encourages long-term investment, suitable for small countries. There is no encouragement to speculation. This we can avoid disequilibrium. It avoids inflation, and the natural rate of it is a natural rate of exchange. So these are the merits of a fixed exchange rate. Now let us try to go through them one by one. The first one is it has an element of certainty. See, the fixed exchange rate enables the country to know payments and receipts in the exact quantity. So there is no fear of uncertainty regarding the payments and receipts. What it does is it assures a smooth flow of international trade. So there's a but there's a greater degree of uncertainty in case of fluctuating exchange rate. In case of fixed, you can understand, but in case of fluctuating, there is a greater degree of uncertainty, which in turn will discourage the international trade. No country can allow its rate of exchange to drift from day to day in response to the international events, because then it will not be possible for any country to do any sort of business. But so because such fluctuating rates will have serious repercussion effects on the entire economic structure of the country by changing the price of imported and exported goods from time to time. You cannot put a tag on anyone, on anything, because the rates are constantly changing. So a fluctuating rate is something which will discourage international trade, whereas the fixed rate are something which can actually encourage the international trade. That there is a certain level of stability. Now this encourages long-term investment. See, fixed rate of investment assures safe future returns for investors. So in that way, it encourages long-term foreign investment. But since there is no risk and uncertainty regarding returns, the investors will also prefer a stable exchange rate. Whenever there is a long-term investment, fluctuated rates are not preferred, because there's a certain level of doubt and fear regarding the security security of the invested capital. So, a system of freely fluctuating exchange rates that induce unnecessary and unwarranted international capital movement. कभी भी आएगा कभी भी जाएगा वैसा हो जाएगा. Then suitable for small countries. Basically, the fixed exchange rate is more desirable and suitable than the fluctuating exchange rate for small economies and small countries. For example, countries like this Denmark and Britain, they'll prefer a stable exchange rate because they want to ensure a smooth functioning of foreign trade. And then we are having, and yes, Britain is a small country. No encouragement to speculation. Whenever there is a fixed exchange rate, the exchange rate being fixed becomes one of the most meritorious feature because with the help of this, it discourages speculation. Now, when the rate is fluctuating, it creates a lot of speculation, which results in the flight of capital. The investors might indulge in moving capital from one country to another. That by doing this, they'll be able to earn more profits. However, there is no such disturbance under the fixed exchange rate as it is because this gives no room for speculation at all. Okay. Now, with the help of fixed exchange rate, we can avoid disequilibrium. See, under fixed exchange rate system, there is no kind of instability in equilibrium. This equilibrium can be achieved, but that is not in the case of fluctuating exchange rate because it causes instability and invites disequilibrium in the economy. And then it avoids inflation. The fixed exchange rate system maintains stability in exchange rate, and as a result, the domestic currency will remain stable. Whenever the domestic currency will remain stable, it will avoid the problem like inflation and deflation. Whereas the fluctuating rate that may lead to inflation. Because whenever there is a change in exchange rate, the resultant depreciation in the value of domestic currency is bound to happen. Then this is the natural rate of exchange that has been said. This is argued that fluctuating rate of exchange is essential to enable a country to reach its natural rate of exchange. Whereas this is not necessary. The natural rate of exchange can be attained with the help of fixed exchange rate also. Okay. So these are the 7 benefits of fixed exchange rate. I will move ahead with the demerits of fixed exchange rate, but then just give me a minute. I'll be back in a moment. Thanks for holding up. Let's go through the demerits. Let's go through the demerits of fixed exchange rate system. Like we are having seven merits to the fixed exchange rate system. We have six demerits also. That is, this is an outmoded system. It discourages foreign investment. There's a certain level of monetary dependency. Cost price relationship is not reflected. It is not genuinely fixed system, and the difficulties of IMF system. Now, the first thing is the outmoded system. See, the fixed exchange rate system is worked successfully under the favorable conditions of gold standard in the 19th century, when the countries were permitted that the balance of payment to influence the domestic economic policies. There was coordination in the monetary policy of trading countries. The central bank was primarily aimed at maintaining the external value of the currency, and the prices were more flexible. This was the time when fixed exchange rate was acceptable, but these conditions are absent today. So the smooth functioning of fixed exchange rate system is not possible. Then we are having the next demerit, that is, it discourages foreign investment. See, the fixed exchange rates are not permanently fixed or rigid. Therefore, such a system discourages long term foreign investment, which is considered available under the really fixed exchange rate system. There is no country which is following a permanently fixed exchange rate or a very rigid exchange rate. So, the long term foreign investment is discouraged, and in the system also. Then there is monetary dependency. Under the fixed exchange rate system, a country is deprived of its monetary independence because it requires this fixed exchange rate system requires a country to pursue a monetary policy for monetary expansion or contraction for the stability purpose. Like we are also having the monetary policy for expansion and contraction. There is no complete independence of currency. Then the cost and price relationship is not reflected. See, in the fixed exchange rate system, the cost and price relationship between the currencies of the country is not reflected. There are no two countries which will follow the same economic policies. And as that is the case, the cost and price relationship between them will keep on changing. Now, if the exchange rate is to reflect the changing cost and price relationship between the countries, that must be flexible. With the help of fixed exchange rate, you cannot reflect this. Because cost and price के लिए you need everything else to be constant or same, but here it is not same. Here it is changing. So you cannot see the cost and price relationship over here. Then they are saying that this is not a genuinely fixed system, which is very true. The system of fixed exchange rates provides neither the expectation of permanently stable rates as found in gold standard, nor the continuous and a sensitive adjustment as a freely fluctuating exchange rate. They are basically bound in between. They're not permanently fixed, they're not permanently flexible. Then are the difficulties of IMF system. Now the system of fixed or pegged exchange rate as followed by the International Monetary Fund is in reality a system of managed flexibility. This involves certain difficulties such as when to change the external value of the currency, what should be the acceptable criteria of devaluation, how much devaluation is needed to re-establish equilibrium in the balance of payment of the devaluing country. So all these difficulties are there in the IMF system, which are to be faced by the fixed exchange rate countries. Okay. So what we have done today is we have basically gone through that what is exchange rate, what are the three regimes of exchange rate, and about the merits and demerits of the fixed exchange rate system. If you're having any doubt regarding any of them, you're requested to put up the questions. Tomorrow we'll be continuing with the merits and demerits of flexible exchange rate system. Okay. So if you're having any doubt, please put up the questions. If you're not having any doubt, then you're requested to make sure that your name and numbers are added to the chat box, and then you can leave the class.